I'm Joe Bev, and this is the Joe Bev Show. This time on the Joe Bev Show, a musical Uncle Dunkle fable, Peppy Possum. Then Jack Benny in Casablanca Jack. Then it's Chapter 2 of The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, Wisteria Lodge, The Tiger of San Pedro. That's coming up on the Joe Bev Show. Forests of the South lives a quiet, friendly little animal with a sharp nose and a long tail called the possum. Not equipped by nature to be a fighter, the possum has another way to protect himself. When trapped by the hunter's dogs, he plays dead, and the dogs leave him alone. Little Peppy Possum, the hero of this story, sings about it.
When the dogs are near, a possum plays dead, and he lies flat out like he fell on his head. Doesn't move a muscle, he's still as can be. He's playing possum just to fool 'em, you see. When the dogs go home, Possum blinks his eye. Then he flips his tail, bids the dogs goodbye. But the dogs don't hear 'cause they're far away. Old Possum don't care, he likes it that way. That is, all possums but me. I'm a little possum who won't play possum. I don't like to stay too long in one place. I'm a little possum who won't play possum, and I like to lead the dogs a merry chase.
Little Peppy Possum's father worried about his son, and one day he took him aside for a little talk.
Yeah, Peppy.
Yes, Pappy?
Peppy, how come you don't play dead when the dogs are a-chasing you?
I just don't scare easy, I reckon. Who's a-scared of an old hound dog, Pappy?
I can tell you that, Peppy.
Who, Pappy?
Your pappy, Peppy. That's who.
But Peppy just laughed and ran off into the deepest part of the forest, looking for danger and excitement, for adventure.
I guess my Pappy means well, but he doesn't have to worry about me. I'm smarter than any old hound dog.
But suddenly, without warning, out from behind a bush jumped Major, one of the biggest, most ferocious hound dogs in the forest.
Well, what have we here? Little Peppy Possum, I do declare.
Howdy, Major. Well, I enjoyed our little talk, but I gotta go now. Bye.
Hold on there, Peppy. Gotcha.
You leave go of my tail, Major. Do you hear me? I don't like it.
And if I don't let go?
Well, I reckon I'll just have to learn to like it.
I'm a-taking you home to my master. He just loves possum stew.
Oh, Pappy, why didn't I listen to you? You was right, and I was wrong.
Peppy, not wishing to become the principal ingredient in a possum stew, decided to do something about it. He relaxed all his muscles, which made him heavy and hard to drag.
Here now. How comes it you're so heavy all of a sudden? Don't you go to sleep now. I know your possum tricks.
No, Major, I'm not asleep, but I am sleepy. And before long, I'll be sound asleep, and then I'll be so heavy, you'll never be able to drag me.
Never, huh?
Never. Unless you listens to what I got to say. I got a plan. Now, about a half a mile from here is a little old brook, full of nice cold water.
Nice cold water, huh?
That's right. You go and get some, then bring it here and throw it on me. That'll make me wide awake, and then you can drag me home.
How do I know you won't run away?
You don't?
Then I'm not going.
Well, in that case, I better get on with my sleeping.
Wake up, Peppy! You wake up now, you hear? If you go to sleep, you'll be too heavy to drag home. I'll do what you want. Now go get the nice cold water.
I'm sorry I caused you all this trouble, Major, but I don't need it anymore.
Oh, Peppy, you make me tired.
Tired, huh? Then throw the water on yourself. I feel fine. This little possum was sure scared today, and I thank my lucky stars that I got away. Dogs chase a possum, it's their nature to, so a possum's gotta do what he's gotta do. Oh, I've learned that dogs are something to fear. When they're around, I better stay clear, or else I'll play dead as my pappy advised. Playing possum's not bad, I just realized.
Dear friend Ethan, you'll never guess in a million years where I am now. Well, you'll think I'm bragging now, but oh no, I'm not bragging at all, Ethan. And since this latest war to end all wars started, I've been in North Africa, Cairo, the Persian Gulf, and I also was in Sicily, Italy, Tripoli, and now Casablanca. Casablanca. Across the Mediterranean to Iran by boat, then by train, then camel, then foot, across the rim of Africa, to Casablanca, and French Morocco, where some men sell their souls for a passport, but others wait, and wait, and wait. Casablanca, the crossroads of the world. I'm writing to you, Ethan, from Ricky Bogart's nightclub, where the high, the low, the fallen, and the mighty gather to see this man of mystery, Ricky.
Better close up for the night, Mr. Ricky. You've had enough to drink.
I told you never to bother me while I'm brooding, Sam.
I want to brood too, Sam. Give me another Boilermaker, and make it a triple. I'm with Rick here.
Give me the usual bourbon whiskey straight up.
Show off.
Well now, exactly what are you two brooding about?
It's my job to sit here and brood, Sam. The customers have come to expect it of me. I don't want to let them down.
Gee, that's nice of you, Rick. Stout fellow. Well, I'm brooding on account of her, Sam.
Her? Her who?
You know her who, Sam? Ingrid.
Say, that's my gal's name, too. We were in Paris together when she left me.
Me too, Rick, me too. She up and left me in Paris, too.
What a coincidence.
Who asked you? When we split up in Paris, she left me. I told her she'd regret it.
Maybe not soon, but someday and for the rest of her life. The same thing happened to me, sweetheart.
What a coincidence.
Will you stop saying that? And don't call me sweetheart.
Sorry, I was thinking of Ingrid.
What a coincidence.
Ingrid. She left me, Rick. She left me, Sam. She left me a sad and broken down old man.
Well, that's the way she found you, boss.
What a coincidence. And he's not your boss. I am, sweetheart.
Oh, sorry, boss. And you're cute too, darling. Hee hee hee.
Now cut that out.
That's my line. Oh, Ingrid. Ingrid.
Ingrid.
Ingrid. Ingrid. Ingrid. Ingrid. I thought I had got her out of my mind.
I had, until you mentioned the name Ingrid.
Oh, Ingrid. Ingrid.
Ingrid.
Ingrid. Ingrid. Ingrid. Ingrid.
I've seen this floor show already.
She comes back to me like a ghost.
She's haunting me, too. But I won't take the dame back, no matter how much I love her.
Well, give her to me, then. I love her. I love her. I love her.
Sam?
Yes, boss?
You play that song for me. You know the one.
Don't do it, Sam. Don't do it. It brings back too many memories.
I don't care what he says, Sam. Play it.
You told me never to.
Play it.
Don't play it.
You played it for her, you can play it for me. Play it, Sam.
Ingrid. Ingrid. Oh, all right. Go ahead, Sam. Play that song.
Wait. I've decided I don't want to hear it after all. Don't play it, Sam.
Play it.
Don't play it.
Play it. I want to hear it just once more.
You must remember this. A kiss is still a kiss. A sigh is still a sigh.
Sing it, boy, sing it.
The fundamental things apply as time goes by.
Oh, Ingrid, Ingrid.
But when two lovers woo,
they still say I love you. Sing it, boy. On that you can rely. No matter what the future brings, as time goes by.
What a lovely song.
I thought you weren't listening.
I couldn't help myself. The strawberries.
That's the wrong story.
Oh, sorry. Thank you.
Mission Ricky. They're after me, Ricky. They're after me.
Who's after you?
The Morocco police, Mr. Ricky. Who else?
Is that so?
Attention! This establishment is closed by order of the Moroccan police until further notice. Everybody out!
You've got to hide me, Ricky. You've got to hide me.
Why should I hide you? I'm still waiting on that forged passport you promised me 2 weeks ago.
Laurie Peters, I arrest you for passport forging. Come with me.
No, wait. Help me, Ricky. Help me.
Oh, get out of here.
Oh, no. Ah!
Why did you let the police take him away, Mr. Ricky?
Well, fat man, I'll tell you. He was secretly in love with my gal. I don't like the competition.
Gee, I'm glad I'm not in love with your gal.
What was I about to say?
You were about to say, play it once more, Sam.
That doesn't sound right. How about orchestrated additionally, Samuel?
Not bad, but it's a little formal. I'm thinking something in the neighborhood of Geet Reet with the Jive Jackson.
Yeah, I like it a lot. But what does it mean?
I don't know, but Phil Harris says it to his piano player, and it works like a charm.
I got it.
Well, for heaven's sakes, don't give it to me. Whatever it is, I haven't been immunized.
Play it again, Sam.
But when two lovers woo,
they still say I love you. Sing it, boy. On that you can rely.
Mr. Ricky, look.
What is it, Sam?
Look, in the doorway. It's her.
Her who?
Ingrid.
Ingrid? My Ingrid?
That's my Ingrid.
Now, just a minute, Mr. Ricky Bogart. We're in love with the same gal?
What a coincidence.
Ingrid. Ingrid.
What are you doing in Casablanca?
You were expecting maybe Humphrey Bogart? The world will welcome the lovers as time goes by.
Jack Benny in Casablanca Jack on the Joe Bev Show. Chapter 2 of The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, Wisteria Lodge, The Tiger of San Pedro on the Joe Bev Show. A cold and melancholy walk of a couple of miles brought us to a high wooden gate, which opened into a gloomy avenue of chestnuts. The curved and shadowed drive led us to a low, dark house, pitch black against a slate-colored sky. From the front window upon the left of the door there peeped a glimmer of a feeble light.
There's a constable in possession. I'll knock at the window. What's the matter, Walters?
I'm glad you came, sir. It has been a long evening, and I don't think my nerve is as good as it was.
What nerve, Walters? I should not have thought you had a nerve in your body.
Well, sir, it's this lonely, silent house and the queer thing in the kitchen. Then, when you tapped at the window, I thought it had come again.
That what had come again?
The devil, sir. The devil, for all I know. It was at the window.
What was at the window when?
It was about 2 hours ago. The light was just fading. I was sitting reading in the chair. I don't know what made me look up, but there was a face looking in at me through the lower pane. Lord, sir, what a face it was! I see it in my dreams.
Tut, tut, Walters. This is not talk for a police constable.
I know, sir, I know. But it shook me, sir, and there's no use to deny it. It wasn't black, sir, nor was it white, nor any colour that I know, but a kind of queer shade like clay with a splash of milk in it. Then there was the size of it. It was twice yours, sir, and the look of it, the great staring goggle eyes, and the line of white teeth like a hungry beast. I tell you, sir, I couldn't move a finger, nor could I get my breath till it whisked away and was gone. Out I ran and through the shrubbery, but thank God there was no one there.
If I did not know you were a good man, Walters, I should put a black mark against you for this. If it were the devil himself, a constable on duty should never thank God that he could not lay his hands upon him. I suppose the whole thing is not a vision and a touch of nerves.
That at least is very easily settled. Yes, a number 12 shoe, I should say. If he was all the same scale as his foot, he must certainly be a giant.
What became of him?
He seems to have broken through the shrubbery and made for the road.
Whoever he might have been, and whatever he may have wanted, he's gone for the present, and we have more immediate things to attend to. Now, Mr. Holmes, with your permission, I will show you round the house.
The various bedrooms and sitting rooms had yielded nothing to any careful search. Apparently, the tenants had brought little or nothing with them, and all the furnishings down to the smallest detail had been taken over with the house. A good deal of clothing, with the stamp of Marks and Company, High Holborn, had been left behind. The telegraphic inquiries had been already made, which showed that Marks knew nothing of his customer, save that he was a good payer. Odds and ends, some pipes, a few novels, 2 of them in Spanish, and an old-fashioned pin-fire revolver and a guitar were among the personal property.
Nothing in all this. But now, Mr. Holmes, I invite your attention to the kitchen.
The inspector held up his candle before an extraordinary object which stood at the back of the dresser. It was so wrinkled and shrunken and withered that it was difficult to say what it might have been. One could but say that it was black and leathery, and that it bore some resemblance to a dwarfish human figure. At first, as I examined it, I thought it was a mummified baby, and then it seemed a very twisted and ancient monkey. Finally, I was left in doubt as to whether it was animal or human. A double band of white shells were strung around the center of it. Very interesting indeed. Anything more? In silence, Inspector Baines led the way to the sink and held forward his candle. The limbs and body of some strange white bird, torn savagely to pieces with the feathers still on, were littered all over it. Holmes pointed to the wattles on the severed head. A white cock. Most interesting. It is really a very curious case. But Mr. Baines had kept his most sinister exhibit to the last. From under the sink he drew a zinc pail which contained a quantity of blood. Then from the table he took a platter heaped with small pieces of charred bone.
Something has been killed, and something has been burned. We raked all these out of the fire. We had a doctor in here this morning. He says they are not human.
I must congratulate you again, Inspector, on handling so distinctive and instructive a case. Your powers, if I may say so, without offence, seem superior to your opportunities.
You're right, Mr. Holmes. We stagnate in the provinces. A case of this sort gives a man a chance and a hope that I shall take it. What do you make of these bones?
A lamb, I should say, or a kid.
And the white cock?
Curious, Mr. Baines, very curious. I should say almost unique.
Yes, sir. There must have been some very strange people with some very strange ways in this house. One of them is dead. Did his companions follow him and kill him? If they did, we should have them, for every port is watched. Yes, sir, my own views are very different.
You have a theory, then?
And I'll work it myself, Mr. Holmes. It's only due to my own credit that I do so. Your name is made, but I still have to make mine. I shall be glad to be able to say afterwards that I have solved it without your help.
Well, Inspector, do follow your path, and I will follow mine. My results are always very much at your service if you care to apply to me for them. I think that I have seen all that I wish to see in this house, and that my time may be more profitable employed elsewhere. Au revoir, and good luck. I could tell by numerous subtle signs, which might have been lost upon anyone but myself, that Holmes was on a hot scent. As impassive as ever to the casual observer, there were none the less a subdued eagerness and suggestion of tension in his brightened eyes and brisker manner, which assured me that the game was afoot. After his habit he said nothing, and after mine I asked no questions, sufficient for me to share the sport and lend my humble help to the capture without distracting the intent brain with needless interruptions. All would come round to me in due time. I waited, therefore, but to my ever-deepening disappointment I waited in vain. Day succeeded day, and my friend took no step forward. One morning he spent in town, and I learned from a casual reference that he had visited the British Museum. Save for this one excursion, he spent his days in long and often solitary walks, or in chatting with a number of village gossips whose acquaintances he had cultivated. I am sure, Watson, a week in the country will be invaluable to you. It is very pleasant to see the first green shoots upon the hedges and the catkins on the hazels once again. With a spud, a tin box, and an elementary book on botany, there are instructive days to be spent. Holmes prowled about with his equipment himself, but it was a poor show of plants which he would bring back of an evening. Occasionally in our rambles we came across Inspector Baines. His fat, red face wreathed itself in smiles, and his small eyes glittered as he greeted my companion. He said little about the case, but from that little we gathered that he also was not dissatisfied at the course of events. I must admit, however, that I was somewhat surprised when, some 5 days after the crime, I opened my morning paper to find in large letters: "The Oxshott Mystery, a solution. Arrest of supposed assassin." Holmes sprang in his chair as if he had been stung when I read the headlines. "By Jove, you don't mean that Baines has got him?" "Apparently. It says, great excitement was caused in Esher and the neighbouring district when it was learned late last night that an arrest had been effected in connection with the Oxcott murder. It will be remembered that Mr. Garcia of Wisteria Lodge was found dead on Oxshott Common, his body showing signs of extreme violence, and that on the same night his servant and his cook fled, which appeared to show their participation in the crime. It was suggested, but never proved, that the deceased gentleman may have had valuables in the house, and that their abstraction was the motive of the crime. Every effort was made by Inspector Baines, who has the case in hand, to ascertain the hiding place of the fugitives, and he had good reason to believe that they had not gone far, but were lurking in some retreat which had been already prepared. It was certain from the first, however, that they would eventually be detected, as the cook, from the evidence of 1 or 2 tradespeople who had caught a glimpse of him through the window, was a man of most remarkable appearance, being a huge and hideous mulatto, with yellowish features This man had been seen since the crime, for he was detected and pursued by Constable Waters on the same evening when he had the audacity to revisit Wisteria Lodge. Inspector Baines, considering that such a visit must have some purpose in view and was likely, therefore, to be repeated, abandoned the house but left an ambuscade in the shrubbery. The man walked into the trap and was captured last night after a struggle in which Constable Downing was badly bitten by the savage. We understand that when the prisoner is brought before the magistrates, a reprimand will be applied for by the police, and that great developments are hoped from his capture.
Really, we must see Baines at once. We will just catch him before he starts. You've seen the papers, Mr. Holmes?
Yes, Baines, I have seen it. Pray don't think it is liberty if I give you a word of friendly warning.
Of warning, Mr. Holmes?
I have looked into this case with some care, and I am not convinced that you are on the right lines. I don't want you to commit yourself too far unless you are sure.
You're very kind, Mr. Holmes.
I assure you I speak for your own good.
We agreed to work on our own lines, Mr. Holmes. That's what I am doing.
Oh, very good. Don't blame me.
No, sir, I believe you mean well by me. But we all have our own systems, Mr. Holmes. You have yours, and maybe I have mine.
Let us say no more about it.
You're welcome always to my news. This fellow is a perfect savage, as strong as a cart horse, and as fierce as the devil. He chewed Downing's thumb nearly off before they could master him. He hardly speaks a word of English, and we can get nothing out of him but grunts.
And you think you have evidence that he murdered his late master?
I didn't say so, Mr. Holmes. I didn't say so. We all have our little ways. You try yours, and I'll try mine. That's the agreement.
I can't make the man out, Watson. He seems to be riding for a fall. Well, as he says, we must each try our own way and see what comes of it. But there's something in Inspector Baines which I can't quite understand.